You're in tune with Radio 2 on 693 and 909 kilohertz.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present The Impressionists, a game played by the experts in noises and voices. This week we have Johnny Moore, Aiden J. Harvey, Dave Evans, and David Jason.
I see more talent living in a theatrical lady's mattress.
And here's your chairman, Ray Allen.
Well, thank you. Hello and welcome to The Impressionists, the program that has sold more radios than any other show. The producer sold his, the director general sold his. Anyway, we have the usual lineup of talented impressionists here, but first, meet the band. It's our very own trio led by their musical director, Ronnie Price. Play, Ronnie. Oh, dear. Marvelous. I'll try it with your gloves off. Our scorer is Doris Donnellan, a lady who defies the law of gravity. She's easier to pick up than it is to drop her. I'd like you to meet our teams. Now, first of all, we have a man who every week takes his salary to the bank. It's too small to go on its own. Mr. Aiden J. Harvey.
Good evening. As Ray's just told you, my name is Aiden J. Harvey, and I do people.
So do I.
Don't we all?
You mean you're a theatrical agent?
Oh, yeah. And I love the telly me, do you? Oh, no. That's good. No, I do. I do. I like things like Crossroads and all that, yeah. Yeah, I was offered a part on Crossroads, yeah. I didn't get the job. I kept remembering my lines, but have you been watching that Emmerdale Farm lately? Hey, so it's all happening there in the wool pack, isn't it? Hey? Hey, Mass! Hey, Mass! Is that a ruddy donkey I can hear it bar? Hey, Mr. Wilkes. Oi. You don't watch that. What about Coronation Street, though? That's good with Mavis in the paper shop. Have you seen her?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nothing like her, is it? I do others as well. Yeah, I'll do them later. Good evening.
Sitting with Aiden, we have his teammate who's always boasting that he only dines with the top brass. And I believe him, because no one would trust him with the silver. Mr. Johnny Moore.
Good evening. I'm going to try and do an impression of the Marx Brothers. That's Harpo. And now, here's Chico and Groucho. Hey, Bus. You're a nice guy. Have a cigar. Thank you, my man. If there's anything like, it's the suck of a good put. Hey, Bus, you're smoking the wrong end. Which end do you smoke a cigar? It's in my mouth. By the way, do you have a match? Hey, Bus, for you, I got a lighter. That's very good, but how do I pick my teeth with a lighter? Good night.
And moving to the other side of the stage, we find a man who never boasts about his family tree. He comes from the shady side. It's Mr. Dave Evans.
Hang on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's great to be here on The Impressionists. My wife should be here, really. She does bird impressions. She watches me like a hawk. Now I'd like to introduce the voice of the not very many. I can wait. This is a career. Dave Edith Evans. Thank you.
Oh, now, Joining Dave, I don't know what it meant. Joining Dave on his team, we're proud to present, it says here, the man who paid a big fee to have his ancestry looked up and paid an even bigger one to have it hushed up. David Jason.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Alien. I think that's your name, isn't it? I'd like to just say that Mr. Jason, I have a particular reason for remembering him, you know, because he was the man who made one of my little-known remarks rather public. And it was when I was forced to resign as leader of the opposition. When I was walking home after the result across Trafalgar Square, and as I looked up at the pigeons flying above me, I said, "Go on, everybody else has."
Well, there we are. That's the introductions over, as well as round one. I shall announce the marks at the end of the next round, which deals with famous catchphrases of various comedians. I shall ask each member of the team to say a catchphrase in the appropriate voice, and the opposing team will tell us what the catchphrase is. But to make it a little more difficult, we have enlisted the services of our very good friends in the German section of the BBC World Service to translate these phrases into German. And to all German listeners, we apologize in advance for our pronunciation, but we are going to do our best. So we shall start with Aiden J. Harvey and his dramatic offering now.
Well, I never. Sieht wie ein netter junger aus.
Well, we want to know what the catchphrase is. It's a famous catchphrase.
Obviously, I think there was a hint of the old, I think there was something suspicious about the voice. Something very suspicious about the voice. Danny LaRue could have been.
Larry, innit?
Larry Grayson.
Larry Belafonte.
Seems like a nice boy. Seems like a nice boy.
Yes, that was it. Seems like a nice boy.
Oh, well done.
And now we go to the next catchphrase in German, and here is Johnny Moore.
No. John Wayne.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it in German. No. No. Got to read it. Nein, hört auf, das Herr so pushen.
All right, then. All right, now.
It's Kenneth Williams, isn't it?
Well, it's got to be,
Is
isn't
it?
it?
Yeah.
Not missing them out. No, it's not missing them out.
Yes, it is. No, stop messing around. Right, now, in this... now, here we are. This is your turn coming up now, Dave, because in this next round, we're going to have the audience help us out. I will give you a word, and on the cue from Dave Evans, I'd like you to shout this word out. In German, of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, your word is Quatsch, right? Quatsch. Now, all right, Dave, let's have your catchphrase. Yes.
He's giving it away.
Was? Au! Haltet ihr bitte davon.
Right, now then, what do you think that was then, Aiden and Johnny?
Well, I think
Eric Morecambe.
Yeah, it was Eric Morecambe, yeah.
What is it?
Rubbish. What do you
Right.
think? What do you think of the show so far?
What do you think of it so far? That's it. What do you think of it so far? That was it. Right.
Mr. Chairman.
Now we've got more audience participation in this last one. Now your word, audience, is schön, and David Jason will tell you when to shout it. Okay, David, off you go.
He goes, schön euch zu sehen, schön. That's right.
Right. Okay.
Well, it was Hilda Ogden.
Right in the first part. Ask me not a member.
Well, it was the chin sticking out.
Yeah.
Jimmy Hill. Saying nice one, Cyril, no?
No, I think it was Bruce Forsyth.
It was Bruce Forsyth, yes. Right. So what was the catchphrase?
I'll leave it to you.
Well,
which one has got a
with
million?
the audience.
Yeah.
Nice to see you nice.
Yes, that's it.
He's right.
Right. Now we have the end of that round. Believe it or not, we're actually going to have some scores. And the scores are, at the moment, Johnny Moore and Aiden J. Harvey with 4 points, Dave Evans and David Jason with 6 points. And now we have back from the bar the Ronnie Price trio. All 6 of them. And they're going to play a tune to each team member, and I would like them to give us an impression of anybody they think they might associate with that tune. Now, it doesn't matter how far-fetched the association is. In fact, I welcome it. So let's start with this tune for Johnny Moore.
Yes. Now, a lot of people don't realise that this man's signature tune, it's the signature tune of George Burns. You all know George Burns?
Hi, my name's George Burns. The other day I was having a conversation with, Gregory Peck. Here's how it went.
George, when either of us takes a girl out, we both have the same thing on our minds.
So far, so good.
Well, I'm young, virile, and handsome.
You know something? I had the same trouble when I was your age.
But you are 84 years old. You have a hairpiece and thick spectacles.
My teeth are my own.
Your own?
They better be. I paid $2,000 for them.
Well, I was thinking, George, why in heaven's name do the girls prefer to go out with you instead of me?
Well, you know, Greg, I take 'em out, I wine 'em, I dine 'em, I dance all night with 'em. Back to my place, soft lights, sweet music, champagne on ice. By the time I got it all set up, I forgot what I took 'em out for in the first place.
And the next to go in this round is David Jason.
Oh, yes. Swinging, swingometers. Reminds me of Bob McKenzie. Oh, talks very much like that. And he's always talking about his swingometer. Swing it to the left and swing to the right. He swings to the left and swings to the right. It's extremely painful. But I would just like to say that it reminds me of the Irishman who tried to hang himself with a piece of elastic and died of concussion. Hang on.
Oh, and now to try and get some sanity back into this round, we have this tune for Aiden J. Harvey.
Yes, I know that. It's Open the Door, Richard.
Yes?
Yes. I associate that, Richard III, Shakespeare.
Then?
Oh, no, sorry.
Now?
I'm sorry, I've ruined it. Hang on.
What's the matter? You got the arm?
I'll lend a quid till I get straightened out. Oh, really?
Take your parachute off and do it.
Please, really, now. Thank you.
Now it's the winter of our discontent.
I think that was said at the Brighton conference.
I'm ruining it now. I'm sorry. Really, please.
Now it's the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by the sun of York and all the clouds that once lured our house into the bosom. Now it's the winter of our discontent made glorious. Now it's the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by the sun of York and all the clouds that once lured our house into the bosom of the deep blue sea. I am a Dalek. Exterminate! Exterminate!
Oh, excellent. Now, at this point in the program, I'm going to give you the scores because, believe it or not, we have been trying to take scores. And the scores at the moment are Johnny and Aiden with 8 points and Dave and David with 9 points. And now we're going to rest the voices of our team members and Ronnie Price and the Wild Bunch as we listen to a tape of 3 famous people talking. Now, I would like our teams to write down the names, and there will be a point for each one they get right. I think I should warn you that we have played about with the recordings electronically, so they will not sound as you usually hear them. So it's most important that you listen very carefully to what they are saying, which will give you the clue to their identity. Okay, now here comes the tape.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have tonight, for your delight, for your edification, if for where necessary, your education, we have affixed a program of enormous opulence.
It's not an obsession at all. I'm reluctant to leave it because I believe it is an excellent form of recreation. I'm not very good at just lying around doing nothing. I never have been. And so I'm working hard in politics, and for my recreation, especially during the summer months, I want something which stretches me in another direction.
But the reason we bought so much food from the community was because it was more expensive elsewhere.
Well, there we are. Now, that was, believe it or not, 3 very famous people talking, and I want our teams now to hand in their pieces of paper, and we'll find out what they've put down. First of all, we've got one from Dave and David. They've got down here Andrew Sachs or Flower Sachs, Father Leonard Sachs. And for number 2, they've got India Rubber Lady or Sir Hamilton Academicals. They've also got down Austin Morris or Margaret Thatcher. Well, let's see what the others have put down. They've put down for number 1 Leon Cortez. But they're much closer with number 2. They've got Herbert Rashplank, who had a hernia transplant to qualify for Social Security. And for number 3, they've got Kermit the Frog, which didn't exist. But they have got for number 4, Maggie Thatcher wearing an 18-hour girdle. Well, in actual fact, we were listening to Leonard Sachs, Edward Heath, and Margaret Thatcher. So the points now go as follows. We have Johnny and Aiden with 9 points, and Dave and David with 11 points. All right, and so now, mercifully, we do come to the last round in this program. You will now hear 3 members of the teams do an impersonation of someone as an introduction to a song by Johnny Moore. So let's start with Aiden J. Harvey.
I'll do this as Prince Charles.
You know, one is often asked how one should... So I give the honours to somebody else to introduce Johnny Moore. Cheerio.
Yeah, it would. I would like to thank Prince Charles. And further, I would like to ask, before I introduce Johnny Moore, that we said to the Lord, why, Lord, did you give the oil to the Arabs and the potatoes to the Irish? And he said, the Irish had the first choice.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, thank you. Thank you very much, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know what? do my throat a paragood, this. I went to the doctor's. I said, he said, I haven't seen you for a long time. I said, I know, I've been ill. He said, flu? I said, no, I'll come on my bike. And now, what are we doing now? Oh, I know, that's right. I'd like to introduce now, without further ado, About Nothing. See that bit of Shakespeare then? A young man, and I use the word very loosely, because it hurts my throat. So I use it loosely. That it doesn't hurt my throat so much then, if it's a bit loose. Mr. Johnny Moore, who's going to sing. What's he going to sing? I think, hey, that's it. The Way We Were, as Billy Bremner. Eckstein, thank you.
Memories light the corners of my mind. Misty watercolored memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another, of the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then, or has time rewritten every line? If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, could we? Would we? Memories may be beautiful and yet, what's too painful to remember, we find so hard to forget. So it's the laughter we will remember whenever we remember the way we were, the way we were.
That's just about it from the Impressionists for this week, and it only remains for me to give you the scores. So as my contribution to the programme, I'd like to ask an old friend to help me out with this, and here she is, Dame Edna.
Well, it's wonderful to be asked along here, my loves. You know, to come along and see all these wonderful, talented people, and I've been listening to them all with great admiration, all these little pommies here, sitting here, doing all these funny voices, which I'm delighted to say we don't hear in Australia, because if they did, they wouldn't know who the hell they were. But it's wonderful for those people in Iceland who can't hear it either, and to the rest of the world who don't hear this programme, congratulations. Here's the score that's been written down by this lovely young lady sitting next to me, Mr. O'Stonlan, and I must say she wears a very nice frock. I'm going to try and borrow it later. Now, it turns out that Johnny Moore and Aiden J. Harvey have, believe it or not, scored 11 little points, while the lovely Dave Evans and that delightful little chap, David Jason, don't you just want to take him home with you in a suitcase? a naughty, great big 14 points, so they are the winners. Isn't that
Before we go,
Yes?
we did the impersonations in German. Did you see him doing a bit of ventriloquism in German? You don't see his lips move, but his left leg goes up and down, don't you?
Well, there we are. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. But just before we go, Mr. Johnny Moore. Mr. Johnny Moore?
Yes, Mr. Ray Allen.
Why does a room full of married people appear empty?
Why does a room of married people appear empty?
Because there's not a single person in it.
That was The Impressionists. The teams were Aiden J. Harvey, Johnny Moore, Dave Evans, and David Jason. Musical impressions were by the Ronnie Price Trio. Your chairman was Ray Allen, and the program was produced by Richard Wilcox.